I will just go through all the three. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. अथ षष्ठो अध्यायः श्री भगवानुवाच अनाश्रितः कर्मफलम् कार्यं कर्म करोति यः स सन्न्यासी च योगी च न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः यं सन्न्यासमिति प्राहुः योगं तं विद्धि पाण्डव न ह्यसन्न्यस्तसङ्कल्पः योगी भवति कश्चन आरुरुक्षोर्मुनेर्योगं कर्म कारुण्यमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते. Now let's chant the fourth one. Okay. Krititali, will you chant after me?
Yes, uncle.
Yada hi nendriyartheshu na karmasvanushajjate చెప్పేవా తల్లి? Repeat చేసేవా? I think your internet connection is low, so that's why I'm not able to hear. But let's go through first line again. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvanushajjate sarvasankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastadochyate tadochyate. Pranavitali, full line cheddamamma. Let's do the full line. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvanushajjate
यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्वनुसज्जते
सर्वसंकल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते
सर्वसंकल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते.
So in sixth chapter, we started with the theme of meditation. And the theme of meditation itself indicates that we have to not focus on our immediate activity, whatever is going through in this material world, but we'll have to connect somehow to a higher spiritual power, which we also know as Paramatma, right? We'll have to be able to connect that. And if you are able to connect that, at that moment, we are set to be in the state of meditation. So is it possible for doing this only once or twice a day? No, possibly it is across throughout the day while you are breathing. In one of the previous chapters we saw, while breathing, while tasting, while eating, while sleeping, while giving, while taking, right? Even while lifting your eyelids up and down, you can always connect that activity to Lord Shri Krishna, Paramatma. That itself is meditation, and it can be done in throughout the day. So obviously a good student will get a doubt on whether I should be following the karma way of performing activities through karma yoga, or should I be connected through Paramatma through constant meditation like this. What should be the ideal thing to do? Should I focus more on meditating, which is pranayama niruddhya? We know that how the prana and apana are to be controlled. The breathing has to be controlled and focused at a point, and then meditate upon Lord. That also has been given as a tip in the previous chapter, almost towards the end of the chapter. So now the question of a student will be like, okay, should I perform my activities and then think of Lord all the time? Or should I just follow these meditative techniques that Bhagwan has provided and do that throughout the day? What should be the course of action? And for that, Bhagwan clarified here without even Arjuna asking. That's very important to understand. Without Arjuna asking, Lord Shri Krishna compassionately thinking of this situation which might go on in Arjuna's mind, he came up with a solution. He said, Arurukshor Muner Yogam, right? So when you are in the beginning stages of the meditation, the ability, when you are trying for the first time, you should always start with the karma, the route of karma, right? For them, karma karanam uchyate. Karanam or karanam, this sound karana means tool. Karana means upakarana, we say, right? Upakarana. Upakarana means tools. So karana, wherever you get that word, understand it is tool to be used, or sadhana, or the object to be considered for performing an action. So Bhagwan says, for Aruruksha, who is in the beginning stages of seeking spiritual enlightenment, for such a person, the ideal way to meditate upon is through karma. Karma should become the tool for such a person. Okay, karma karanam uchyate. That's what has been said. And for the one who is yoga arudha means the old, which means that the most senior, that means what, the highly matured, the one who has been doing karma yoga over a period of time, applying the principles of karma yoga, which is what, not having the sense of doership and not having the sense of enjoyership. These are the only two things. If somebody can perform all activities in a day by following these two dharma, then such a person over a period of time will slowly evolve, mature. And it is something like this. Will somebody tell me to breathe now? Will somebody tell me to eat now? No. I will eat, I will breathe. Why? Because my sharira, my buddhi knows that if I have to live, if the body has to be nourished, I have to do these two things daily. And every moment I have to do, like wherever there is energy loss, I have to regain that energy, is what my body knows as a principle. Similarly, when a person continues to perform an activity over a period of time with karma yoga spirit, with the yajna spirit, such a person will not have any kind of attachments to the lower material world. And for such a person, slowly he or she will evolve as a spiritual yogi, right? For such a person, obviously we have seen karma sannyasa will happen, which means none of the activities that they do will ever get registered. So whether they are doing or whether they are not doing will not be known by them. They will just perform the activities and it will not even be registered in them, right? So such a person is an evolved yogi called as yoga rudhaha, right? Such a yoga rudhaha will not require karma, will only require what then? That person will have to go through dhyana or shamaha. Shamaha means what? Controlling of mind and senses, right? So you have to control. That person can focus more on controlling the senses, controlling the mind, and sitting at a position and doing a constant spiritual meditation, engaging himself or herself into a constant meditation. But that's not the first step. That is the ultimate step, is Bhagavan. Now, that was in the third. Now in fourth, Bhagavan says, how will I know? Question will come. How will I know if I'm Yoga Rudaha or not? What if I'm Aruruksha? How would I know for myself? Because this is Bhagavad Gita is, remember, Bhagavad Gita is all about self-study. It is not about finding others. Are you a Yoga Rudaha or are you Aruruksha? Who are you? No. The idea is who am I? Entire Bhagavad Gita is all about who am I, right? So who am I? Am I that spiritually evolved person right now or not? Should I ask somebody? Should I ask my Guru? Will Guru tell? Guru will say, I will not tell you that. Because Bhagavad Gita is all about myself. I can tell you about myself, or what I think I am, or what Bhagavad Gita thinks I am. But I will not be able to tell who you are. So Guru will definitely not give you a certificate saying that, yeah, now from now onwards, you can focus on only meditation. Stop doing activities. He will not tell that. Okay. So then who will tell us? Myself. How? There has to be some technique to know, right? For that, Bhagavan compassionately gives this verse 4 to identify where we are. He says, Yada hi na indriyartheshu na karma anushajjate. Anushajjate means attached. Attached ante enti? We come across this word a lot of times. What is attached? Attached means registering what that activity is performing or what is the end result, what happened, right? How it interests you. That connection is called as attachment, right? Sometimes even registering the activity. Oh, this has been done. I have done this. Enough. That itself is attachment, right? Or sometimes it can go beyond. Oh, I have done this. I'm so happy that I could do this. That's the next level, right? So these are the different levels in attachment, but they are all attachment. The basic attachment is that, oh, I think I have done this, right? That's it. That's the first step. So Bhagavan says, na indriya artha. Indriya artha means what? Indriya means senses. Indriya artha means the object of the senses. What are the object of senses? Kriti Tali, can you give me one example of a sense object? Objects that come in contact with the senses. Any object.
In hearing, we hear music.
Music is the object. Hearing is the sense. Ear is the sensory organ. But which is the sense object here? Music.
Music.
Likewise, food is the sensory object for tongue. Sometimes the words, the speech, the grammar, these are all objects of speech, right? That speech itself is an object for tongue as well, right? Now, for feel, we have different things like, all the conditions which are cold, warm, heat, right? All these are conditions. These are again objects of sense. So Bhagavan is saying, na indriya artha anushajjate, na karma anushajjate, which means what? Neither the objects of the senses are attached to this person, nor the actions that are being performed is attached to that person. Such a person is Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. What is Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi? Sankalpa we discussed in the previous class. Do you remember what is Sankalpa? Pranayatali, do you remember? Sankalpa is the biggest enemy we discussed. What is Sankalpa? Kalpa means creation. Sankalpa means the force, the driving force to have creativity. Creativity of what? Creative thoughts. Every thought that gets created in our mind is called as a sankalpa. The passionate force that creates a new thought in our mind all the time. ఇప్పుడు మనం క్లాస్ లో ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇలా డిస్కస్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం. But do you think we are only focusing about what is being discussed here? No. Sometimes my eyes may go to the fan. Oh, it's moving. I think it is little cold, but still I have the fan on. Oh, there are 3 lights blinking. One is off. That light is not working. These all will be coming while I'm talking about the same Bhagavad Gita with you all, right? So what are these? These are new creative thoughts in my mind. Why they are coming? Because my senses are getting attached to a particular object that I may like it, I may not like it. That's why it is creating a new thought. That is why it is creating a new thought. So sankalpa is that. Sarva sankalpa, all these thoughts that are getting created, sannyasi is given away as an offering. He doesn't care. Oh, he cannot stop those thoughts. Yoga Rudaha, the person who is highly evolved, will not be able to stop these thoughts. But what he will do? Sannyasa. He will give it back. He will look at the lights and say, oh, this light is not functioning. There, great thought. Thanks, Bhagwan. This is your thought. I don't care about this anymore. I want to focus on my Bhagavad Gita. Come back. He comes back all the time. She comes back all the time. But he or she will never be able to stop the thought. Please remember, not having thoughts is equal to a dead person. The mind will still do its job. It will create the thoughts. It will have the sankalpa in itself. The person will have sankalpa, but he will sannyasa. He will give it off. He will not catch it. He will drop it. That is called as sarva sankalpa sannyasi. So there are 3 things. Indriya artha anushajyate, karma anushajyate, sarva sankalpa sanyaste. These are the 3 things he does. What are the 3 things? 1, all the sense objects, no attachment to that. All the activities that are happening around, or he or she himself, they are performing, no ownership, no enjoyership on it. And the third very important thing, any new thought that comes in deviating from the spiritual goal and the spiritual journey will just be disregarded. It will not be stopped. He or she will be part of it, but they just be disregarded. There will not be any attachment to it, and it will be given away in the same way, right? So those 3, when it happens in one's life, they are called as yoga rudaha. Am I yoga rudaha? The question should be for myself. And my answer would be, no, not yet. Then what should I do? I should continue karma yoga. That means I'm still not qualified. Somewhere or the other, I'm getting distracted. Very easiest of all these 3 is what? The easiest of it is the karma anushajyate. By practice, we can say, for example, if Kriti gets very good grades, and if I say, Kriti Tali, you've done great job, I'm so proud of you. Then she says, Uncle, this is all because of my teachers and elders and everything. I just followed their directions, and whatever I got is because of their blessings in Paramatma, mom and dad, elders, support and everything. So none of this is mine. Everything is belonging to them. It is easy to say that and also feel that. So karma anushajyate is easier. The next difficult one is the indriya artha anushajyate, which means what? Whatever are the objects of senses, these are based on our samskaras from our previous lives. Some of these attachments come from the previous lives. For example, if I'm focused more towards the music, or focused more towards a particular eating habit, then that could be a samskara from the previous so many lives that I had. So getting rid of that is the next difficult thing. But people do that through force, through some discipline. They do that. For example, they go to Kashi and say, from today onwards, I'm not going to touch this. When they say that, they follow that. So they need some kind of a force. They need some kind of a discipline and a determination to do that. But they will be able to do that as well. However, the last thing is completely out of control. Where every thought that comes in the mind while we are performing a yajna, while we are in the process of spiritual enlightenment, when we are in the process of karma yoga, there will be distractions. There will be new thoughts coming us to constantly distract us. right? See how the waves come at the shore, it is not calm. You will see, and you will build a nice sand hill. You will say, oh my God, so such a beautiful sand hill. The wave will come and dissolve it all into a sand again. You'll say, what happened? I took so much time to build this and one wave came and it just, that is the nature of the wave. You cannot ask wave to stay calm. You cannot say, hey, I'm building a castle here. Don't come. You can go everywhere else, but don't come here. It is not possible. Wave will not listen to you. Mind also will not listen to you. So there will be this distraction constantly, and it is possible that you get distracted. Don't worry about it. It is the nature of the mind. But over a period of mind, whenever you get distracted, rather than going with the wave, come again running onto the sands, build the castle again. Right? Keep building the castle again. Now, while building the castle again and again and again and again, and not worrying about the waves, you will come to a state where the castle is of no good importance to you. That is exactly what Karma Yoga is. You perform an activity again and again and again, you will be distracted from Karma Yoga, come back to Karma Yoga. And when we are performing this again and again, there will be a point in time where karma itself is not relevant for you. Right? So at that point in time, you don't worry about the waves. That is the time where you can fully be the owner of the mind, because you are giving zero significant value to the mind. You're not giving any value to the mind then, right? Are you giving any value to the mind then? You have been practicing, you've been building this castle, but the wave came, it hit it, it destructed your castle of sand that you built, and then you start building again. At one point in time, you say, hey, it's time to go. And so what about castle? That's fine. I don't care about it anymore. Exactly. That's what happens in Karma Yoga. When you perform an activity in the spirit of yajna, again and again, you will get distracted. You will get pride, jealousy, anger. All these feelings in mind will probably distract you. But it's okay to get distracted, but the principle is to come back again. You have to self-reflect. That's why every moment we have to self-reflect. It's okay to get angry and say, hey, Pawan, why did you get angry? I think you should have managed yourself a little better, maybe next time, right? And then continue what you're doing. So next time such an opportunity comes again and hits you badly, you say, this time I'm not getting angry at all. I'll make sure that I'm not getting angry. I may get something else. I may get pain. I may get sorrow. I may get something else, some other feel, but not anger anymore. So likewise, we become more disciplined. Okay. Such a person is a yoga rudha. Remember 3 things that can qualify a yoga rudha. 1, indriya artha anushajyate, karma anushajyate, and sarva sankalpa sanyaste. These are the 3 things that he or she does perfectly well. And such a person is called as yoga rudaha. Yoga rudaha tada uchyate. Such a person is called as yoga. So now we can definitely, with this explanation, I think we can pretty much determine where we are personally. Okay. Now, next one is a very important and a nice, beautiful one. Pranavitali, would you like to chant after me?
Yes, uncle.
5th one. Uddharedātmanātmānam.
Uddharedātmanātmānam.
Nātmānam avasādayet.
Nātmānam avasadyate.
Avasādayet.
Avasādayet.
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuh.
Atmaiva yatmano bandhu.
Atmaiva ripuratmanah.
Atmaiva ripuratmanah.
This was there in my 6th grade, this shloka. And I was so confused at that. Please, now I'm sure, I probably think that I'm not confused, but let's see. We'll chant again. Uddharedātmanātmānam.
Uddharedātmanātmānam.
Nātmānam avasādayet.
Nātmānam avasādayet.
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuh.
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः
आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः
आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः
Let's try to do the full lines. उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत्
उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानम् अवसादयेत्
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः
आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः.
The word Atma in Bhagavad Gita can be interpreted depending on the level of discussion or the context of the discussion. So here in the previous one, we ended up with Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi, and we have been focusing more on the mind as an agitating agent. So here also, when say Atma in Sanskrit can mean the Jiva, the reflection, pure reflection of Paramatma in us. It can also mean self, which means you, like Atma is like you or I, right? Or it can also be the Paramatma. Depending on the context, it takes the seat. Here, Atma takes the seat of mind. Here, Atma takes the seat of something called as Antahkarana, which is a part and parcel of the Jiva. Okay, so Jiva contains or is loaded with the package called as Antahkarana. If Jiva did not have that Antahkarana at all, then there is no difference between Jiva and Paramatma. We know that. All the desires that we have, hey, I like sweet, hey, I want to do this, I love reading this. Whenever I say that, it is coming from my Antahkarana. It is not coming from the Jiva. Jiva is just a reflection. If there is a light, right, falling on a mirror, and if you see that the reflection is dull, is it the problem of the mirror or is it the problem of sun? It's a problem of the mirror. And if it is like, if it is like showing you 100 suns or 100 different reflections, it means the mirror is broken somewhere. It has many surfaces, which is nothing but your diamond, right? It is a Raja. Rajaswa is diamond because it takes one light, it splits into multiple lights and shows as if there are multiple suns sitting inside instead of one sun. That's why it sparkles. So that is Rajaswa. Whatever it is the problem of the object. And that object is what? That object is what? If I have the consciousness of Paramatma, then why I am behaving like somebody other than Paramatma? Because of another packet, the mirror on which this reflection is sitting, and that mirror is called as Antahkarana. Antahkarana constitutes of 4 parts: Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chitta. Mano, Buddha, Chitta, Ahankara. These are the 4 roles, I should say. These are the 4 different aspects of Antahkarana. How many Antahkaranas we will have? Only one. How many gods we have? Only one. How many minds we have? Only one. However, the mind in general can take the form of different entities. Each one we call with a name. 1, the mind itself, Mana. 2, Buddhi. Buddhi is not a separate entity. Don't think my Buddhi is like brain, mind is my heart. No. That is for us to understand. To know that mind is all about emotions and Buddhi is all about decisions, we give these directions to it. But ultimately, Jiva, the Antahkarana, will not have 2 minds, one mind, one Buddhi, one Chitta sitting somewhere differently. No. You can imagine that for understanding purpose. But basically, it is all nothing but mind. Antahkarana is nothing but mind. Mind performing different roles. Okay. Who can tell me if I'm a software professional, or am I dad, or I am a let's say a relative of somebody. I may be all three. I am all three. But depending on what area you're focusing at a given point in time, I may be applying a particular role. Here, I'm a participant in Bhagavad Gita session here along with you. So I'm just a participant. That's my role. When I go back from here, when I go down, I may probably become a family man. I may be a father if I'm talking to my daughter. I may be a husband if I'm talking to my wife. But do you think all these three are different? You will say, no, uncle, it is just you. Exactly like that. Manaha is a single entity. It is nothing but the Antahkarana. However, based on its role, we call it differently because it is performing a different duty there. Just like how my hands do a different duty than my legs, but they are part of the same body, Manaha has different aspects. One aspect of it is decision-making capacity that we call it as Buddhi. Understood? Understand very carefully. Don't get confused because this is all about Advaita Siddhanta proposed by Sri Adiguru Shankaracharya. As per Advaita Siddhanta, there are no two things. No Dvaita. There are no two. It's one. Manaha is one. So in that Manaha, seated in that mind, performing different duties, you are called differently. Sometimes when you're taking decisions, the mind is called as Buddhi. When it is creating emotions, it is just called the mind, Manaha. When it is getting attached to the experiences and gaining desires or building vasanas and repositorying and saving it somewhere, we call it as Chitta. And when that mind allows the Jiva, the reflection of Lord Sri Krishna in us, to wrongly interpret that it is not Krishna, but it is this body, this mind, and this Buddhi, that becomes Ahankara. The same mind becomes Ahankara when it becomes the master and makes Jiva the slave of it. Completely dilutes the Jiva. Jiva forgets that it is the reflection of the sun. It feels as if it's part of the body and it behaves as if it's part of the body. It enjoys when the body is doing certain actions and all that stuff. So it becomes so tightly, wrapped up by these blankets of Antahkarana, so thicker that it forgets that it's coming from the source, which is Lord Shri Krishna, and behaves as if it's a normal person like a Pavan or Pranavi or Kriti or somewhere like that. So such will be the Ahankara. So all these four aspects are because of Antahkarana, one Antahkarana, and that is nothing but the mind. So now Bhagavan is saying, why I'm discussing this? Because Bhagavan said in this shloka, Uddharet Atmanam Atmanah. Who can? Currently, I am not even Arurukshu. I am a normal, deluded person like Arjuna in chapter 1. Somebody has to take me from there to Karma Yogi. From Karma Yogi, I have to go to Dhyana Yogi, which is Yoga Rudaha. How I can go there? Transition. Who will take me? My Guru? My Guru is only a provider of direction. He will say, this is east, that is west, this is south, that is north. It is good to go north. He will say that. But that is only up to him. He will not drag me to that direction. He will not take me in that direction. He will guide me in that direction. He will show me the path. Right? He will make me understand the scriptures. So every generation, you will see somebody or the other who will be providing this information. They are only providing the path. Whether you want to walk on that path is an individual's choice. So here in this particular case, Bhagavan is saying, nobody else is going to come and develop you. Uddharet Atmanam Atmanaha. You yourself are your teacher. You yourself are your well-wisher. You yourself are the one who can hold yourself up and take from a normal person to a Karma Yogi and a Karma Yogi to a Yoga Rudaha. This transition can happen only by you. Here, you, when he says, you can understand, he is using the word Atma. So what does that mean? How can my Atma can help itself That is why I told that mind comes in different stages. The buddhi aspect of the mind should help the manaha aspect of the mind. Understood? So it is something like this. If, let's say, my son is doing a computer science project, he's writing a small program and it's not working. I am his father. As a father, I should help him. I will go to him. Then what I'll ask, Gautam, what's the problem? And he will say, Daddy, I'm writing this small program. I'm not getting the logic. I need some help. As a parent, as a father, the immediate thing is I will help. But then what will I do? I will change myself into a software engineer. I will look at the problem as if the problem is mine. And then I will take the right decision. I will ask him to apply that decision. And he applies that decision, it might work. Right? So here I have played two roles. Immediately when there was a need, I shifted my role to a software engineer, resolved the problem, and became father again. Similarly, when a mind is going through agitations, the mind should take the role of buddhi. Buddhi should go back to the scriptures, understand what should be done at this point in time. Okay, Pawan, you are getting angry. Okay, ball is given to my father, buddhi. Buddhi, can you please help me? Buddhi, which is nothing but the same mind, will look at the scriptures and say, oh my God, this is something really, really scary and weird. You should never have got into the situation, but you got into the situation because that's your nature. You know what? Here is what you can do. Forget about that. Focus on something. Chant his name. Or whoever you are angry about, look Bhagwan's presence in him or her. And you'll forget about this anger. The buddhi says that. Mind follows buddhi. Mind says, okay, I will follow whatever you said. See, this is interaction between mind and mind. There is no other entity. There is nobody else coming from outside anywhere. This is called self-reflection. Self-reflection is nothing but your mind talking to itself, but with different roles. One will be buddhi, one will be mana, the other will be chitta. Chitta will come in the middle. It says, oh, no. You know what? You cannot tolerate such kind of attitude. You always have been forcefully rejecting this thought and helping and killing and hurting people whenever such thing happens. You have been rejecting it thoroughly. So do that again, do that again, do that again. Mind will say, oh, stop. I'll have to ask buddhi. And buddhi will say, no, that's not the way you handle this. I know you have been handling this way. Chitta is right. You have been handling it right way. But guess what? This is not what Bhagavad Gita is telling you. So change the direction. This is the direction. Your guru has already told you. Follow that direction. And the mana says, okay, since I am a great student of yours, since I'm a great believer of you, I will follow whatever you say, buddhi. And buddhi will say, then follow the direction of Bhagavad Gita and guru that he has given you the path. And then mind says, okay, fine, I'll try to change. The moment you change, chitta says, oh, you don't want to use this information anymore? Mind looks at chitta and says, I don't need this information anymore. I just got the new way to work upon it. And the moment the mind says that, chitta says, okay, if this information is not required for you, I'm dropping it off. That's how the vasanas get killed. That's how the vasana kshaya happens in the chitta. But just understand, these are not different parts of your body. These are different roles of the same mind, and mind goes through this constant drifting between these components every now and then. This is the beauty of mind. Now, whenever you use the word called mind, be respectful, because it is not an ordinary sense organ. It is called as the Shashtendriya, the sixth sense. That's mind. It is not an easy affair to handle mind. So that's why your buddhi has to be stronger. The buddhi role of the mind has to be stronger. How can you make that stronger? By reading more scriptures, because the buddhi's main reference is always knowledge. If there is enough knowledge, then buddhi becomes stronger. Otherwise, buddhi becomes weak and mind becomes the boss. Right? It is something like this. When somebody goes to the gym, I know this because my son does go to the gym, and they will focus more on the biceps first. They will forget about all the other parts of the body, right? They will only focus on this, and this will become stronger. Now, if I have to make them run, they will say, I cannot run. Why? Because your legs are not strong. Similarly, it depends on where you're exercising, that part will get stronger. If you're exercising of not of knowledge intake, being with gurus, serving at their feet, living their life, then obviously your buddhi will become stronger. And when buddhi becomes stronger, manaha will be always listening to what buddhi says. And buddhi will always refer to the best document available to provide a right direction, like a guru. So who is guru here? Guru is not somewhere out. Guru is your own buddhi. So that's why Bhagavan says, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam, you yourself, there is entity in you that is going to guide you and lift you up. Right? Na Atmanam Avasadaye, do not underestimate, do not abuse your mind. Full respect. Okay? Atmaiva hi Atmano Bandhuhu. Your mind itself is a friend of mind. And mind itself is an enemy to itself. When you can control, when buddhi takes the power and mind becomes the good friend of buddhi, it is bandhu, it is friend. Mind is friend of mind in that case. When buddhi becomes weak, because you're not providing that information to it, it doesn't have knowledge enough to give you right direction, or you are feeding wrong knowledge to it, so it gives always wrong direction to you. Such a buddhi becomes weaker, mind becomes stronger. In such case, your mind is going to hamper yourself. You will see anger, jealousy, sorrow, pain, and all these things creeping into you, not only affecting your mind, but also your body. Every prana, every element of lively energy that is there inside this body will be obstructed because of that. So at that point in time, when buddhi is weaker and mind is stronger, they become enemy to your real existence, and the purpose of life is not satisfied. So Bhagavan is very clearly mentioning that these all things happen internally to you. So manage yourself. Simple one-liner is manage yourself. This is the essence of 5th shloka. Obviously, when I was a small kid, I said, my teacher just explained, and I just had his Facebook yesterday. I was on Facebook and I saw him yesterday. It was so nice to hear his voice again. He was the first teacher who taught me how to pronounce Sanskrit from word to word. So I just saw him and it was like a great experience for me. But I remembered when I was reading this yesterday, I thought I should see him once, and I tried searching for him and I got him on Facebook. He's still the same person. And I felt so nice about it. The reason why I'm sharing this is because there will be a point where you'll not be able to understand. But after so many years, 6th grade, I was around 12 years of age, now 45, right? Almost 30 years later, at least I'm trying to understand what this is. That's again because of another guru who has interpreted it for me and given such a great commentary, right? So this journey will continue. Whatever you understand today, even if you don't understand anything, for this shloka, understand that nobody is going to help you. You have to help yourself. This is the essence of the 5th shloka, right? But if you want to go deeper, then it is about the mind and the buddhi fighting with each other or being friends to each other. What do you want? Do you want them to be friends or do you want them to be fighting against, right? All right. So let's go through the one more. Okay. Because I know when my mind is a friend to itself, what happens? I must know. So for that, Bhagavan has given 6th, which is Krititali. Will you repeat, Amma?
Yes, uncle.
Bandhuratma
Bandhuratma
Atmanastasya
Atmatasmasya Atmanastasya.
One word, it will be Bandhuratmatmanastasya
Bandhuratma बन्धुरात्मानस्त्स्य
बन्धुः आत्मा आत्म so बन्धुः आत्मा आत्मनः तस्य so बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य two आत्मस्य बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य
बन्धुरात्मानस्तस्य
చూడు నువ్వు బంధురాత్మ మనస్తస్య అన్నావనుకో అప్పుడు దాని అర్థం అవుతుంది బంధురు ఆత్మ మనః తస్య అవుతుంది ఫ్రమ్ అవర్ డిస్కషన్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గుడ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రైట్ బట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ప్రొనౌన్సియేషన్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ స్టాండ్ పాయింట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి రాంగ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆత్మ బంధురాత్మ నువ్వు ఆత్మలో ఆ అంటున్నావు కదా లాస్ట్ లో అక్కడే మళ్ళీ ఆత్మ అనాలి సో ఆత్మ అవుతుంది మళ్ళీ బంధురాత్మాత్మనస్తస్య చెప్పగలవా ట్రై చేయగలవా 2 times చెప్పు ఆత్మాత్మను are you able to hear తల్లి Okay, you're not able to hear. Sorry, Pranvi, will you try?
Yes,
We'll
sir.
come to you, Kriti. Okay, na? Bandhuratmatmanastasya
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य
येनात्मैवात्मनाजितः येनात्मैव आत्मनाजितः
आत्मनाजितः
So, येनात्मैवात्मनाजितः
येनात्मैवात्मनाजितः
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मनाजितः
बन्धुरात्मात्मनास्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मनाजितः
गुड अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे
वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
కృతి తల్లి ట్రై చేయనా ఒకసారి నేను విడివిడిగా చెప్తాను ఓకే బంధురాత్మాత్మ
बन्धुरात्मान
బంధురాత్మాత్మ
बन्धुरात्मात्म
నస్తస్య
नस्तस्य
येनात्मैవాత్మనాజితః
अंकल
मनाजितः
मनाजितः
येनात्मैवात्मनाजितः
येनात्मैवामनाजितः
अनात्मनस्तु
अनहमनस्तु
शत्रुत्वे
शत्रुत्वे
वर्तेतात्मैव
वर्तेतात्मैव
शत्रुवत्.
शत्रुवत्.
So Bhagavan is clearly mentioning when he is a friend of, when will the mind be friend of mind and when will the mind be an enemy to mind, right? He says bandhur atmana atmanastasya yena atmaiva atmana jitaha. when the buddhi wins over the mind, that's when the Atma is a friend to Atma. That is the possibility of helping you evolve. When the buddhi wins over the mind. Atma, jita, Atma. Mind winning over itself. Which means what? Mind as buddhi winning over mind as mind. Okay? That is when they become friends. When will they be enemies? When buddhi loses to the mind. That's when mind will become the enemy of the mind. Okay? This has to be very carefully understood. And to make buddhi always win, what we have to do? We have to take the knowledge as much as possible in all different forms. Listen to gurus, read the scriptures, understand, apply it in real life, do all experiments, but then gain that knowledge. Right? So let's stop here. And then we will see what are the end results of making buddhi stronger. When buddhi becomes stronger, how it helps us will be the next course of action. Up until 10th will be this drive will go. From 10th onwards, Bhagwan will constantly focus on how to meditate, right? But he is preparing us. He's preparing us, getting us ready. Because while meditating, guess what? The first thing that will distract you is the thought. So he's helping us to understand what can kill that thought, how it can be killed, which particular aspect of your mind can control these thoughts, because they are coming through your, your mana. How can you control those and all that? So he's preparing us for that. Okay. Sure. Please remember the context that our context of our discussion was that Antakarana is one, Manaha is one, Buddhi is just another role, Chitta is just another role, Ahankara is just another role of the same mind. All right. Let's close with the closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swastirbhavatu, Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavit, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityormamritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Please take care of your health. We'll catch up again next week. Okay. And don't worry about the detailed explanations of mind. I know, Kriti, it may be little higher for you, or if you are comfortable, that's fine. If you are not also, try to take it in a very simple way. Okay. Just understand that fifth as you can only help yourself and guide yourself. Nobody else is going to really help you. They can only give you advice. That's the fifth essence. Okay. Like that you can understand. But if you want to go deeper, we have already discussed that. So, all right. See you all next week. Jai Shri Krishna. Keep doing well.
Bye, Uncle.
Bye, Uncle. Jai Shri Krishna.
Bye.